Losing a spouse is one of the most excruciating experiences a person may go through, particularly after sharing a long life together. The person who has been your constant companion, your partner through thick and thin, is suddenly gone. It's like a part of you has been ripped away, leaving a void that feels impossible to fill. The home you built together now feels empty, and daily routines that once brought joy now seem meaningless. But what if I told you that this loss doesn't have to be the end of your happiness? What if there are ways to reclaim your joy, to rediscover a sense of purpose, and to live a life that still holds beauty and meaning? It's not about forgetting your loved one or pretending the pain isn't there. It's about finding a path forward that honors their memory while allowing you to embrace the rest of your journey. In this video, we'll explore 3 powerful secrets that can help you move forward after such a profound loss. Each secret is grounded in real stories from people who, like you, have faced the darkest days and come out the other side stronger and more resilient. They'll show you that it's possible to rebuild, to rediscover passions, and to live fully again, even when it feels like your world has fallen apart. If you're struggling with the grief of losing a spouse, this video is for you. Please subscribe to our channel, Life Reflections, for more content like this. Content that uplifts, inspires, and guides you through life's most challenging moments. We're here to remind you that no matter what stage of life you're in, it's never too late to find hope and joy again. Let's begin with the first secret: learning to find peace and healing through acceptance rather than resistance. Secret 1. Finding peace through acceptance period. When a spouse dies, the world feels upside down. What used to be familiar now seems foreign, and simple tasks can become overwhelming. The immediate reaction for many is to fight against these changes, to resist accepting that the person they loved so deeply is truly gone. But resisting the pain only makes it worse. Healing begins when we find a way to make peace with the reality of our loss. Acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with what happened. It means you've come to terms with the fact that life will never be the same, and that's all right. Acceptance is about recognizing that the love you shared will always be a part of you, even if your partner is no longer physically present. And that's what Mr. Paul discovered after his wife passed away. Story of Mr. Paul, embracing the past while moving forward. Paul and his wife, Ellen, had been married for over 45 years. They were the kind of couple who did everything together: morning walks, traveling, even grocery shopping. So when Ellen passed away after a short illness, Paul felt completely lost. For months he resisted the reality of her absence. He continued to set the table for 2, kept her clothes neatly folded in the closet, and even talked to her as if she were still there. His children were worried, but Paul brushed off their concerns, insisting he was fine. One day, Paul found an old scrapbook they had made during their first few years of marriage. As he flipped through the pages, memories of their adventures flooded back: their honeymoon trip to Italy, their first home together, the birth of their children. Paul sat there for hours, laughing and crying as he remembered their life together. It was then that something shifted in him. Instead of pushing the memories away or clinging to them desperately, he allowed himself to simply be with them. He realized that accepting Ellen's death didn't mean he had to erase her from his life. It meant cherishing those memories, talking about her openly, and allowing himself to feel the love they shared without the pain overwhelming him. Slowly, Paul stopped setting the table for 2. He put away her clothes, keeping only a few cherished items. He began to tell his grandchildren stories about their grandmother, sharing the laughter and wisdom she had brought into his life. Acceptance for Paul didn't come quickly or easily. It was a gradual process of learning to hold on without holding back. "Ellen is still with me," he says now. "Not in the way she used to be, but in every memory, every lesson she taught me, and every smile I share with my family." How acceptance can help you heal. It's natural to feel resistant at first, to think that accepting the loss means letting go of your loved one. But true acceptance is about embracing the truth that they were a significant part of your story and always will be. It's about learning to live with the fact that they're no longer here, without letting that reality stop you from living fully. If you're struggling to find peace, start by acknowledging your pain. Sit with your emotions, let yourself cry, and talk about your spouse to those who will listen. Create a small space in your home where you can honor their memory, perhaps a photograph, a special keepsake, or even just a quiet corner where you can sit and remember. Let yourself revisit old memories, not to relive the pain, but to feel the love that still exists. And remember, healing doesn't mean you'll never feel sad again. It means the sadness becomes part of a larger tapestry that also includes joy, gratitude, and love. Acceptance allows you to move forward without leaving your loved one behind. Once you've started this journey of acceptance, it's time to build a new life that's filled with meaning and purpose. That's where our second secret comes in. Secret 2. Rediscovering purpose. After the loss of a spouse, it's common to feel adrift, as if your purpose has disappeared along with them. So much of daily life was built around shared routines, shared goals, and shared dreams. Without that person beside you, it's easy to fall into the trap of simply existing rather than truly living. The days can blur together in a monotonous haze, and the lack of direction can feel suffocating. But finding new meaning is possible, even in the midst of grief. Let's look at the story of Mrs. Helen, who found a new sense of purpose through a surprising and life-changing decision. Story of Mrs. Helen, a new mission after loss. Helen had been a nurse for over 30 years, and caring for others was second nature to her. But when her husband, Tom, passed away, she retired early to focus on her own healing. She had planned to spend more time with her grandchildren, to travel, and to enjoy her later years with Tom by her side. His death shattered those dreams, and Helen found herself alone in a quiet house, unsure of what to do next. One morning, while cleaning out a box of Tom's old things, she found a letter he had written to her shortly before his death. In it, he expressed his gratitude for her love and support throughout their marriage, and he urged her to continue sharing her kindness and compassion with the world, even after he was gone. "Don't let my passing close your heart," he wrote. "The world needs more of what you have to give." Helen was moved to tears. She realized that Tom was right. She still had so much to offer. With his words in mind, she made a bold decision. She would return to nursing, not as a full-time professional, but as a volunteer. She started by offering her services at a local hospice, providing care and comfort to those in the final stages of life. At first, it was difficult. Being surrounded by death so soon after losing Tom seemed overwhelming. But slowly, Helen found that helping others brought her a new sense of peace. She was able to share her experiences, to offer support to families going through the same heartache she had felt, and to honor Tom's memory in a meaningful way. Helen's days, once filled with emptiness, were now busy and fulfilling. She had a reason to get up each morning, a purpose that extended beyond her own grief. "I'm not just existing anymore," she says with a smile. "I'm living, and I'm living in a way that would make Tom proud." Finding your own purpose. Helen's story shows us that purpose can come from many places. It doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing. It's about doing something that fills your heart, something that gives your life direction and meaning again. Maybe it's taking up a hobby you used to love, or finding a cause that resonates with you. Or perhaps it's reconnecting with others in a new way, whether that's through volunteering, teaching, or mentoring. If you're in a similar place, start by asking yourself a simple question. What brings me a sense of peace? Think back to activities or interests that used to make you feel fulfilled, even if they seem small now. It could be gardening, painting, or even just going for walks in nature. Purpose doesn't have to be about big achievements. It's about finding what makes each day feel worthwhile. For Helen, it was nursing. For someone else, it might be cooking for neighbors, learning a new language, or spending time with grandchildren. The point is to take that first step, no matter how small. Remember, it's not about filling up your time just for the sake of being busy. It's about filling your time with things that matter to you, things that help you reconnect with yourself and the world around you. Rediscovering purpose takes time, and it's okay if you don't find it right away. Be patient with yourself. Try different things until something clicks. And once you've found that spark, nurture it. Let it grow and become a guiding light through the fog of grief. Now that we've talked about acceptance and finding purpose, there's one more secret that ties it all together: maintaining a sense of independence. Let's dive into what that really means and why it's so crucial to your long-term happiness. Secret 3: maintaining a sense of independence. Independence often means different things to different people, but at its core, it's about maintaining a sense of self, of who you are and what makes you unique. When you've been part of a couple for so long, it's easy to feel like your identity is intertwined with your partner's. So when they're gone, it's natural to feel like you've lost not just them, but a part of yourself. Maintaining independence means finding your way back to you. But this doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. Independence is not the same as isolation. It's about having the freedom to make your own choices, to pursue your own interests, and to live in a way that feels authentic to who you are. It's about staying connected to your own values, dreams, and desires, even as you navigate life without your partner by your side. This can be a challenge, especially when well-meaning family members want to take over or protect you. After a spouse's death, children and relatives often step in, offering support and guidance. While their intentions are good, sometimes it can feel overwhelming or even stifling. That's exactly what Mrs. Carroll experienced after her husband passed away. Story of Mrs. Carroll, reclaiming her voice. Mrs. Carroll had always been a strong, independent woman. Even in her marriage, she was the one who managed the finances, made household decisions, and planned their travels. But when her husband died suddenly, everything changed. Her children, worried that she might struggle without him, began to make decisions for her. Small things at first, like rearranging her furniture or planning her meals. Then, it escalated to bigger choices, like selling her car and suggesting she move into a senior living community. "I felt like I was disappearing," Carol recalls. "Everyone was trying to be helpful, but they didn't see that I was still capable. I didn't need them to run my life for me." The breaking point came when her eldest son told her that he'd put a down payment on an apartment at a nearby assisted living centre without asking her first. That was the moment Carol knew she had to speak up. Summoning all her courage, she sat down with her children and told them how she felt. "I know you're trying to help," she began, "but I'm not helpless. I need to be able to make my own decisions, to have my own space and to live on my own terms. Her children were taken aback. They hadn't realized how their actions were affecting her. But they listened. Together, they came up with a plan that respected Carol's independence while still ensuring she had support when she needed it. With her newfound voice, Carol made some changes. She kept her house, but hired a part-time helper for the garden work she could no longer manage alone. She rejoined her book club and started attending local art classes, a passion she'd put aside for years. "I felt like I was coming back to life," she says now. "Standing up for myself wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I needed to prove to myself and to my family that I could still live fully." The importance of maintaining independence. Carol's story is a reminder that independence is not about cutting ties with those who care for you. It's about finding a balance, maintaining your own identity while still being part of a loving family. If you feel like you're losing your sense of self, take a step back and ask, what do I need to feel like me again? Is it having a say in where you live? Is it keeping control over your daily routines? Or is it simply having time and space to pursue your own interests without interference? Whatever it is, don't be afraid to voice your needs. The people who love you will understand, even if it takes time. Maintaining independence isn't just about logistics. It's about emotional and mental well-being. It's about feeling empowered, respected, and valued for who you are. And when you feel strong in yourself, you're better able to build relationships that are healthy and fulfilling, rather than ones based on dependency. So, take small steps each day to assert your independence. Whether that's making your own decisions, pursuing hobbies you enjoy, or even just setting boundaries with family, each step helps you rebuild your confidence and sense of self. Embracing the future. Grieving the loss of a spouse is one of the hardest journeys anyone can face. But it's also a journey that can lead to profound growth, strength, and new beginnings. These 3 secrets, finding peace through acceptance, rediscovering your purpose, and maintaining independence, are not about erasing the past. They're about building a future that honors your loved one's memory while allowing you to live fully. Remember, healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying your spouse's love with you as you step forward, one day at a time. You are still here, and your story is not over. So take these steps at your own pace. Allow yourself to feel the pain, but also the joy of new experiences. Reconnect with the things that bring you peace, and never stop exploring what makes life meaningful for you. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, please consider subscribing to Life Reflections. Let's continue supporting each other as we navigate life's challenges. And remember, even in the darkest moments, hope and joy are still possible.